What's going on, Facts family? It's your boy Ant, GodMade32 on Instagram, and today we back with a Screen Crush recap of The Last of Us, Season 1, and I can't wait to get into this one with you. So yeah guys, The Last of Us was an amazing series. I never played the game. I didn't know much about the series other than there were infected / zombies in there, and I know I wanted to see what the show was talking about. Then they added Pedro Pascal and Lil Shorty from Game of Thrones. And I knew I was in. Watched the series, reacted to the series, and I thought it was awesome. Really hit my emotions at several different points in that series. And I thought it was a stellar translation with just the right amount of changes. But with all of that being said, I'm ready to get back into this world. So if you like what we do here, please go ahead and do the YouTube things. Like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to be notified when we upload new videos, go ahead and click that little bell icon. Now, without any further ado, let's get... Oh, shit, the clickers.
Hey, welcome back to Screen Crush. I'm Ryan Airy, and Season 2 of The Last of Us is creeping up on us faster than a clicker bite to the neck. Now,
Yes,
the first
sir.
season set an entirely new, higher standard for video game adaptations. But before we unload on another one, I want to recap everything that's happened so far. Now, I know that we're all excited for The Last of Us to return, but we should also take a moment to remember the fallen with...
Kristen, do we really need a recap? All these zombie shows start the same way.
Well, that's the thing, Doug. This is not your typical zombie apocalypse,
That is a
especially
fact.
when it comes to the initial outbreak. Most zombie stories start with some kind of viral pandemic that passes through physical contact or even the air. However, the outbreak in The Last of Us isn't viral, but fungal. Specifically, the cordyceps fungus, which is a very real fungus found in tropical climates like South America and Australia. The fungus feeds on ants, harvesting their organs and hijacking the ants' motor functions to spread spores and reproduce, essentially turning them into zombies.
Zombie ants.
The opening of the first episode talks about this fungus in detail during a 1960s talk show.
With
now, toward the end of
Jonathan.
the program, the scientist describing the fungus assures the public that this kind of fungal infection could never pass on to humans. Unless, of course, you know, the world started getting warmer and it mutated to the point where it could withstand the human body temperature.
Fact.
That won't happen to us, right?
Well, I'm sure people won't ever
Right.
let that happen. You all keep the planet safe.
Sure. So in 2003, the doctor's prediction came
Sure
true.
we do.
A variant of the cordyceps fungus finds its way into a flour factory in Indonesia. As the contaminated products were shipped internationally, it soon became a global pandemic. And this is where we meet Joel in Austin, Texas. Way before it was filled with blue-haired hipster pirates. He's a hard-working single dad trying to provide for his daughter, Sarah. They accidentally make a life-saving choice by choosing a gluten-free breakfast the morning the outbreak hits.
Where's the pancake mix?
Oh, was that? Yeah, it was. Sorry.
Sarah, Joel, and his brother Tommy try to flee the city amidst all this chaos, but that's when Joel is hit.
That's crazy. Our one little time of forgetfulness saves you from all of the madness. Insane. But back to it.
With a canon event.
I got a bad feeling about this.
A soldier, under strict orders to contain the outbreak, shoots Sarah and she dies in her father's arms. The Last of Us stands apart from most zombie stories because it's not about fighting the infected, it's about how we fight ourselves. The series explores what would happen in the aftermath of a global apocalypse. And in that future, the powers that control the world closely guard their information. And this is a reflection of the world we live in today. Because most mainstream media sites have a profit bias. They just want to feed you stories that up your engagement and confirm your existing opinions. And that's why, fast forward 20 years, the world has fallen apart and the United States is now a patchwork of quarantine zones, abandoned cities of infected, and wastelands. Joel is living in the Boston QZ, a grim, oppressive place run by the Federal Disaster Response Agency, aka FEDRA. These are the remnants of the U.S. military. He's become a smuggler, willing to do whatever it takes to survive, and his partner, Tess, helps him navigate the black market, trading contraband and making deals to scrape by. Joel's primary goal is to get to his brother in Wyoming, but to do that, he needs a car battery. Tess finds one, but before she can get her hands on it, it's been sold to the Fireflies.
What are lightning bugs going to do with the car battery?
They're not bugs, Doug. The Fireflies are a revolutionary militia group fighting against FEDRA. This particular squad needs the battery to transport some very special cargo to their Boston outpost, a 14-year-old girl named Ellie.
Why is she so important?
Well, it turns out that she is humanity's best hope for a cure. She developed a natural immunity to the virus after her mother was bitten during childbirth. This exposed her to a small amount of
I ain't gonna hold you. That childbirthing scene was crazy as balls. And I really like Spanish Shorty and how she was protective of Ellie in the beginning and how she did her thing and played her role and how dope she was in the beginning. And I really did like the mother of Ellie and how she kind of in the scene looks like Shorty, but you know what I mean? That's a story for another time. I'm going to talk about that when like the episode starts. But back to it.
Infection, but just enough that her body could fight it off and develop a natural immunity, like a vaccine. She discovered her immunity after being bitten alongside her girlfriend in an abandoned mall, but she never turned, leaving only a scar as proof. The Fireflies believe that Ellie's immunity could end this nightmare for good. When Joel turns up to take the battery back for himself, they find out the battery was a dud anyways, so they strike a deal with Joel and Tess. If they can escort Ellie to one of their outposts, they'll get him what he needs to find Tommy. Joel agrees, but navigating the city is no easy task as it is infested with clickers.
Oh, like remote controls?
No, clickers are names for zombies in this show, and that's another aspect that makes The Last of Us different from your typical zombie outbreak. You see, the fungus grows in the infected corpses over time, changing them. They're not just zombies, they're super zombies that grow stronger as the fungus matures. Clickers are infected people who are in the initial stages of being fully overtaken by the cordyceps. The fungus has grown to cover their eyes, making them blind. They use echolocation to hunt, making this incredibly creepy clicking sound wherever they go. Joel, Tess, and Ellie end up finding out firsthand just how dangerous clickers can be, and after tussling with a few of them on their way to the outpost, they barely make it out alive. Now, in the process, though, Ellie is bitten, which is when she reveals her immunity to Joel and Tess.
The unit reversed.
After wrapping their heads around this plot twist, they finally arrive at the outpost, only to find it littered with Firefly bodies. Turns out that one of the Fireflies was infected, and they all shot each other in a panic. To top things off, Tess has been hiding that she, too, was bitten in the scuffle with the clickers.
Everybody got bit.
People are headed their way after being alerted through the fungal network. Now, in the games, the fungus spreads through spores in the air. However, in the show, the fungus grow underground, like tree roots, and they create a connected network, which is also based on how fungi behave in nature. The largest organism on Earth is actually a fungus in Oregon that is nearly 2,400 acres, almost 4 square miles, and it's all one living thing connected through its underground network. The cordyceps fungus in The Last of Us works in a similar way, using its underground network like a giant brain. So the fungus works like a hive mind, so it's very hard to escape the fungus when you're in an area where it's already spread. And that makes it particularly terrifying. It's kind of like Rick's ex-girlfriend Unity with extra nightmare fuel.
Seems like this is all over. Wait, Unity, what are you doing?
Ah!
All right, Rick. That's everyone.
Tess sacrifices herself in a blaze of glory by making out with a mushroom man to buy Joel and Ellie enough time to escape. Now, while they manage to make it out, they're just as lost as they have no idea where the Fireflies are now or who even to deliver Ellie to. So Joel decides now is a better time than ever to head to Wyoming and find his brother. They just need a car. So they stop at the home of Joel's friend Bill, a doomsday prepper who built an isolated haven with his partner Frank. So episode 3 gives us a beautiful look into the lives of Bill and Frank. And you should totally watch this episode. It's incredible, and I cried like a baby.
Watch the series. All of it is dope.
As far as its importance to the overall story, it just happens to be the house where Joel and Ellie find a new set of wheels. This little side story with Bill actually does a fantastic job of showing the series themes using this emotional story between these two men. The show also takes small elements from the games like this and adapts them to create a narrative that's better fit for an HBO show, which is something I hope we can expect to see repeated in season 2. So with their new ride, Joel and Ellie bond on their trip to Kansas City, but their cute family moment comes to a screeching halt as they enter KC and are ambushed by raiders. Joel gets pinned down and Ellie ends up saving Joel with the gun that she secretly took from Bill's house.
Ain't got nothing!
Shot his ass.
They manage to make it out, but now they're on this new group's radar. The raiders come looking to avenge their lost men, and it turns out that they're part of another revolutionary group, like the Fireflies, who recently overthrew their Fedra overlords. This is where Joel and Ellie run into Henry and Sam, two brothers on the run from the same group.
This was the one that broke
they try
me.
to escape the city through the only place the raiders wouldn't dare.
I ain't gonna hold you. It's like I knew what was gonna happen in this episode. I knew not to trust HBO. I knew not to trust The Last of Us because of what they was doing. Like, everybody was dead up until that time. I knew not to trust it. I knew it. But the reaction is going to be somewhere up here, man. Go check it out, man. For real. That shit was rough. That shit broke the shit out of me. Like, I'm getting emotional right now. Think about it. Nah, back to it.
Patrol the clicker-infested subway tunnels. After some breathtakingly close calls, they make it out of the tunnels, but as soon as they get to the surface, the raiders ambush them. And just as they're about to execute Henry, one of the raiders' trucks falls into a sinkhole and explodes, inviting a massive horde of infections, including a bloater, to crash the party.
What's a bloater?
Well, a bloater happens when the infection fully takes a person over. The growth from the fungus have covered their skin like armor that makes them even more resistant to gunfire, and they are huge. It's essentially the evolved form of a clicker.
Hilarious. Congratulations.
Now, after the city is now flooded with infected, Joel and the group use the distraction to escape, but Sam is bitten during the chaos. Ellie tries to save him by giving him some of her blood, but it doesn't work, which forces Henry into having to put down his little brother and then take his own life in remorse. It's just one of many reminders of the dark realities in this post-apocalyptic world. But the shared trauma brings Joel and Ellie even closer together. Ellie picks up a book of puns and starts firing them off whenever they have a minute to lighten the mood.
Did you know diarrhea is hereditary?
What?
Yeah. It runs in your genes.
And Joel really starts to open up to her, becoming the found family father figure that Pedro Pascal is known for. Now, eventually, they reach Wyoming, where Joel reunites with his brother. He lives in a peaceful commune and is even about to become a dad. As Joel starts to settle down himself, he wrestles with his guilt and fear, realizing how much Ellie means to him. He decides to see their mission through, and Tommy provides them with supplies to continue their journey to a Firefly lab in Colorado. But yet again, it is another dead end. The lab was abandoned, but they do find a lead pointing to a new hideout in Salt Lake City.
Again, really?
However, on their way out, Joel takes a baseball bat to the gut after killing a raider who tried to catch them off guard. Ellie manages to get him to safety, but Joel only hangs by a thread. Months go by as he recovers, and Ellie does her best to try to nurse him back to health. She goes out to hunt for food when she is cornered by a group of men led by a dude named David, who kidnaps her and locks her in a cell. Turns out these guys belong to the same group as the guy that Joel killed in Colorado, and they have been looking for him ever since. So with Ellie behind bars, they try to hunt down Joel next, but he recovers in just enough time to go full Liam Neeson on their asses before finding out where they hid her.
Where's my daughter?
Now back at the compound, David starts making some unsettling advances toward Ellie. When she refuses to be his next child wife, he throws her on a table and threatens to make her into the next family dinner. But she gets into it when she reveals her clicker bite.
I've been bitten, you stupid prat!
Tainted me! Tainted me!
They hesitate long enough for Ellie to slice a chunk out of them with the before escaping. After a fiery showdown in a steakhouse, Ellie gets the stealth kill and lets out her new trauma on David's face. Joel finds her in the aftermath, barely clinging to life. After taking a moment to digest everything that just happened, they continue their journey. Now, when they eventually reach Salt Lake City, they briefly enjoy a moment of peace when they run into an escaped giraffe from the local zoo. The scene
it's a giraffe!
Joel opens up to Ellie about his daughter, and she asks,
"So time heals all wounds, I guess?"
It wasn't time that did it.
But the sweet sentiment is short-lived as the Fireflies ambush them and take them hostage.
Wait, I thought the Fireflies were the good guys. Why did they kidnap them?
Well, we find out as soon as Joel wakes up. He is in a hospital, but Ellie is nowhere to be found. Marlene, the leader of the Fireflies who made the deal with Joel, tells him,
"Gentlemen,
still don't know how she
I've got
there.
Good news and bad news."
Now, they believe they can create a cure from Ellie's blood, but it is going to cost her life, which does not go over well with Joel. He just established how Ellie is now like a daughter to him, and so he cannot lose another daughter. So Joel goes full John Wick, tearing through the hospital to save Ellie. He clears out the entire hospital and even the doctors before escaping with Ellie's unconscious body. He is confronted by Marlene just before he hits the getaway car, who reminds him that he's not really saving Ellie from anything. They still live in an apocalyptic nightmare, but Joel adds her to the body count anyways. And as they drive away, Ellie finally wakes up and asks what happened, to which he replies with,
"Turns out there's a whole lot more like you. People that are immune."
Wait, but that's not what happened. Did he tell a lie?
He told a lie.
And Ellie doesn't seem to believe him either. As they return to Tommy's settlement in Wyoming, Ellie confronts Joel, asking him to swear that he's telling the truth. He does, and the season ends on a haunting note of uncertainty. Now, without spoiling anything from the games, it's safe to say that Joel's lie is going to be a major plot point in season 2. However, there were quite a few changes from the games in the first season, so there's still some potential for some surprises in season 2. And guys, that was season 1 of The Last of Us. I cannot tell you how excited I am about the next season of this show. The Last of Us Part 2 was a very well-designed and
you to tell me nothing more about the game. That's where I'm gonna stop it right there with you. And this is where I'm gonna tell y'all, I am so ready for this, man. That just hyped me all the way up. I'm mad I didn't do this like the day before, so I just know I had to wait one day until the episode. I still got a few days to go, you know what I mean? But I am ready for The Last of Us. There was a big break in me doing Daredevil. That big break was because my computer literally stopped working. Everything broke down. I went ahead and got a new computer, got it delivered. The package was stolen off my porch, and I pushed the time back even further. So now I'm finally back. I actually upgraded. It's a new life for the channel. I'm trying to be consistent right now. I got a lot going on with everything. You know, life happens, you know what I mean? Everybody knows life happening with everybody. But yeah, we back again, and I'm gonna try to not stop for no extended period of time. But you know, like I said, it's not like I just gave it up. Things happen. I'm gonna be dropping Last of Us reactions a week after they air. Sometimes a little bit sooner, sometimes a little bit later, because you know time. But I'm gonna try to stay on schedule. It's gonna be a week after premiere. It's gonna be dropping new. My reactions are gonna be dropping on the day the new episodes are gonna be coming out, so you can watch my reactions of last week and go right into the new episode. Also, I'm gonna finish Daredevil. Like, I want to finish Daredevil. There's 2 more series that I really want to finish that I've been getting onto, but I have to do one at a time right now. And I'm trying to get back in a rhythm. I've been out of a rhythm for a while, so I got to get back in that mode, get back in that rhythm. Got to get locked in again on getting this straight. 2025 is going to be a crazy year for everybody, so I'm praying for y'all. I hope y'all praying for me. And if you like what we're doing here, please make sure to like and subscribe. It helps us way more than you know, and it helps to beat the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to be notified when we upload new videos, click that little bell icon. Thank you.